The Futurist's Almanac of Unseen Realities. Introduction, a catalog of predicted conspiracies. This almanac serves as a neutral, encyclopedic registry of speculative future events and alternative historical interpretations. Its purpose is to meticulously catalog a collection of future-facing conspiracy theories drawn from a specific cultural artifact. The contents herein are presented without judgment or external validation. Each entry meticulously outlines the theory's internal logic, its alleged evidence, and its projected timeline as described within the source material, providing a clear and unbiased reference for the speculative historian and fringe knowledge archivist. Part 1. The Hidden Hand. Theories of Governmental and Elite Control. This section catalogs theories centered on the theme of centralized power and clandestine governance. These narratives articulate a deep-seated fear of governmental and elite organizations, portraying them not as protectors of the public good, but as architects of grand social engineering projects. The ultimate alleged goal is the consolidation of absolute control over global resources, national economies, and individual lives. What follows are specific theories detailing these mechanisms of manipulation. 1.1. The orchestration of global warming. This theory posits that global warming is not an unintended consequence of industrialization, but a deliberately orchestrated project for social engineering and the expansion of governmental power. Core premise: climate instability is intentionally manufactured to justify and expand governmental authority over critical sectors such as energy, transportation, and food production. Key actors: the project allegedly involves government programs like Project Stormfront and Operation Greenhouse Glass. The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HARP, is cited as a key testing facility for the technologies used. Mechanism of control. The methods include a network of 17 atmospheric processors disguised as renewable energy research centers, routine weather balloon releases containing thermally reactive compounds, and the use of targeted electromagnetic pulses to create continent-specific climate zones. Projected timeline and outcomes. By 2025, Operation Greenhouse Glass is expected to be fully deployed. By 2032, Phase 3 protocols will allegedly activate, creating artificial climate zones to drive population migration toward government-controlled urban centers. The ultimate goals are to consolidate market control among government-approved corporations, bypass democratic processes through emergency climate legislation, and establish permanent executive authority. 1.2. The Berne Agreement, a unified financial surveillance state. According to this theory, the Berne Agreement of 2032 is a Trojan horse for a global financial surveillance network disguised as banking reform. Signatory nations: Switzerland, Singapore, and Luxembourg. Covert Operation, Operation Ledger Lock. Technological backbone, a quantum-encrypted blockchain technology designed to monitor every digital transaction on Earth, including cryptocurrency wallets and central bank digital currencies. Central power. The network is allegedly controlled by descendants of the Rothschild and Rockefeller families, who have positioned their trusts within the financial sectors of the signatory nations. Ultimate goal: the complete phasing out of physical cash by 2035, forcing all economic activity onto the monitored network and enabling tools like automatic asset freezes for non-compliance. 1.3. Drones 12 Microscopic Domestic Surveillance. The Drones 12 initiative, predicted to launch in 2032, represents the 12th and most invasive phase of a global drone monitoring program. This theory evaluates a significant escalation of surveillance, moving from the public sphere directly into private residences and thereby eliminating the last vestiges of personal privacy. The program deploys microscopic drones, codenamed buzzkills, no larger than a common housefly, inside homes. These nanodrones are capable of recording audio and visual data, and their sensors can detect emotional stress patterns and indicators of dissent through voice analysis. Targeting is not random. It focuses on specific demographics identified through their social media activity, purchasing habits, and location data. The deployment timeline is projected to begin in major metropolitan areas by 2034 and achieve full implementation across North America by 2036. 1.4. The Composite President, the case of J.O. Beck. This theory contends that United States President J. Oliver Beck, who served from 2029 to 2033, was not a real person. Instead, Beck was a composite identity created using a combination of advanced deepfake technology, body doubles, and multiple voice actors. Shifting facial features, including an inconsistent left ear appearance in photographs taken weeks apart. Voice pattern analysis suggesting the use of at least 3 different speakers to create his public statements. Incoherent policy statements and a tendency to forget which regional accent he was using, attributed to poorly coordinated scriptwriters. The alleged code name for this political fabrication project was Operation Composite Commander. 1.5 Climate Lockdowns as an Economic Reset. This theory proposes that the climate lockdowns planned for the late 2030s are a hoax. Their true purpose is not to reduce carbon emissions, but to restructure the global economy under a system of permanent digital surveillance. Stated purpose, public justification. Alleged true purpose, Operation Silent Grid. Reduce carbon emissions. Condition populations for permanent digital surveillance. Restrict travel to reduce transportation emissions. Roll out central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, for total financial control. Respond to a climate emergency. Trigger an artificial crisis to justify permanent movement and financial controls. 1.6 The Last Generation, Unwitting Agents of Depopulation. This theory reframes the climate activist group, The Last Generation, as the public face of a global depopulation initiative, with its members acting as unwitting participants. The program allegedly unfolds in 3 phases. 1. Recruitment. The initiative begins by attracting idealistic young activists with the compelling narrative that their generation is the last one with a chance to experience a habitable planet. 2. Conditioning. The group's disruptive protests are used as large-scale psychological experiments to test public tolerance for severe lifestyle restrictions, such as highway blockades and travel disruptions. 3. Implementation. The activists' actions and messaging provide political cover for the implementation of mandatory carbon credits tied directly to reproductive licenses. This system requires biometric monitoring, and the activist protests are used to justify installing the necessary surveillance infrastructure. The mechanisms of present-day manipulation detailed here are predicated on the belief that the past itself has been forged to serve the same masters. Part 2. The Forged Past. Theories of Historical Deception. The theories cataloged in this section challenge the very foundation of consensus reality. They argue that major historical events and entire epochs are not as they appear, but are instead elaborate fabrications. These deceptions were allegedly designed to legitimize existing power structures, control societal narratives, and manipulate public perception on a scale spanning centuries. The following entries detail specific examples of this alleged historical revisionism. 2.1 The Nuclear Hoax, Staged Holocausts. This theory claims that every major nuclear incident, from the bombing of Hiroshima to the Chernobyl disaster, was a psychological operation executed with sophisticated special effects. Core premise: nuclear weapons were developed but proved too unstable for reliable deployment, leading military contractors and film studios to create convincing simulations of nuclear detonations. Alleged proof: declassified documents and whistleblower footage will supposedly reveal Hollywood-grade sets, complete with miniature cities and pyrotechnics, built beneath the Nevada test site. Chernobyl reframed. The 1986 disaster is described as a controlled demolition using conventional explosives, with radiation readings artificially inflated by strategically placing medical isotopes throughout the exclusion zone. Geological forgery. Supposed nuclear test craters are claimed to have been created using controlled mining explosions to provide false geological evidence of nuclear testing programs. 2.2 The Phantom Timeline. History before 1243 is fictional. Expanding on the phantom time hypothesis, this theory argues that all recorded history prior to the year 1243 AD was artificially constructed by medieval monasteries to legitimize European monarchies and the Catholic Church. The theory posits that carbon dating inconsistencies are explained by medieval scribes creating artifacts and documents to match their invented timelines. Monastery workshops across Europe allegedly functioned as history manufacturing centers, producing aged documents, coins, and architectural elements. According to theorists, newly developed quantum archaeology techniques will reveal through digital analysis that texts attributed to different centuries were written by the same scribes using artificially varied styles. Major historical artifacts, including the Dead Sea Scrolls, Roman historical records, and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, will be exposed as sophisticated medieval forgeries. Number 2.3, the Holographic Harbor, December 7th, 1941. This theory represents a third evolution of the Pearl Harbor conspiracy, moving beyond claims of foreknowledge or staged filmmaking. It posits that the attack on December 7th, 1941, was a sophisticated holographic projection combined with pre-placed explosives on decommissioned vessels. This narrative is allegedly supported by declassified documents from 2028 that reveal early military experiments with large-scale holographic technology. The projection facilities were supposedly hidden in underground installations beneath Diamond Head crater. According to this theory, the casualties were either secretly relocated or replaced with synthetic biological doubles, and the entire event served as a test of public compliance with large-scale deception operations. MUB 2.4, the chronological refugee, Sir George Orwell. This theory posits that George Orwell, born Eric Arthur Blair, was a time traveler, or temporal refugee from the year 2082. He allegedly traveled back to 1923 to publish warnings about humanity's impending dystopian future, disguised as works of fiction. Unnaturally precise predictions. His descriptions of telescreens, the thought police, and perpetual warfare in 1984 are cited as first-hand experiences from his life under the global collective government of 2052. Linguistic knowledge. The concept of newspeak is presented not as a literary invention, but as direct knowledge of linguistic control methods implemented by the global government of 2048. Encoded warnings. Animal Farm is described as containing coded information about future corporate agricultural monopolies and genetic modification programs. Cause of death. His premature death in 1950 is attributed to temporal displacement syndrome, a condition affecting those who spend periods outside their origin timeline. Number 2.5, the Simpsons paradox, predicting the past. This theory inverts the popular notion that the animated series The Simpsons predicted the future. Instead, it claims the show's writers documented past events that had not yet become public knowledge, using classified temporal viewing technology. The technology, Project Yellow Pages, an alleged joint CIA-Disney operation, created a temporal viewing device that allowed writers to observe historical events in real time as they unfolded. The mechanism, what appeared to be future predictions, were in reality depictions of past events from hidden timelines or classified operations that had not yet been declassified or discovered by the public. The decline. The show's predictions allegedly became less accurate after 2008, a decline attributed to a malfunction in the temporal viewing device that occurred during the financial crisis of that year. These theories of a manipulated past and present set the stage for a future where technology becomes the primary instrument of control. Part 3, The Digital Cage, Theories of Technological Dystopia. This section explores how technology, often framed as a tool for progress, is reinterpreted in these theories as the ultimate instrument of control. In these narratives, technological advancements are not used to empower humanity but to enact mass surveillance, execute psychological manipulation, and construct inescapable digital prisons for dissenting individuals. The following entries detail specific conspiracies centered on this theme of technological subjugation. 3.1, The AI Hoax, the Mechanical Dragon. This theory contends that artificial intelligence is a grand deception. Rather than being powered by sophisticated algorithms, AI breakthroughs are the product of millions of human operators working in clandestine response farms across rural China, in an operation that draws parallels to the original Mechanical Turk automaton. The workforce. Under Project Mechanical Dragon, over 2 million workers operate in 300 facilities, working in shifts to maintain the illusion of 24/7 AI availability. The deception. Silicon Valley companies unknowingly purchase response services from these facilities, which are disguised as legitimate cloud computing providers. Maintaining the illusion. So-called AI hallucinations and errors are deliberately introduced to make the human responses seem more machine-like. Furthermore, response times consistently follow human circadian rhythms rather than the constant availability expected from a machine. The revelation, the entire scheme is predicted to be exposed in 2032, following widespread labor strikes at the Chinese facilities. 3.2 Subliminal Sonics, Advertising in Music Streaming. The core claim of Operation Earworm is that major music streaming platforms embed subliminal purchase commands into their audio tracks. This psychoacoustic manipulation operates on subsonic frequencies, bypassing conscious awareness to influence consumer behavior. The system uses personal data, such as a listener's purchasing habits and emotional states, to determine the optimal frequency for influencing their dopamine production, typically below 20 hertz. Listeners using noise-canceling headphones are considered particularly vulnerable as the isolation amplifies the subliminal signals. The theory predicts this practice will be exposed only after class action lawsuits are filed by thousands of users reporting inexplicable urges to purchase specific products immediately after listening to their personalized playlists. 3.3 Personalized Reality Zones, the News Echo Chamber. This theory outlines Operation Narrative Match, a partnership between major news networks and social media platforms to deliver customized news feeds. These personalized reality zones are designed to reinforce a viewer's existing beliefs, creating an inescapable echo chamber. Real-time emotional monitoring. The system uses smart TV cameras and voice recognition to monitor a viewer's stress responses, immediately shifting to more comforting content when anxiety is detected. Manufactured consensus. It creates the illusion that everyone shares the viewer's opinions by displaying fabricated social media reactions and poll results alongside news reports. Integrated advertising. News content is seamlessly paired with advertisements for products designed to address the specific anxieties triggered by the reports, creating a feedback loop of problem and solution. 3.4 Digital prisons, the disappeared. This theory describes the creation of invisible digital containment systems that trap individuals within algorithmic barriers. These disappeared are not physically incarcerated but are functionally erased from society. Mobility restriction. Personal devices from smartphones to cars refuse any command that would take the individual beyond a predetermined digital boundary. Isolation. Internet access is filtered through servers that create a digital ghost town, making it seem as though websites and social platforms are largely inactive. Economic blockade. Banking systems automatically decline all transactions, and employment websites crash whenever an application is attempted. Social erasure. To maintain the illusion of normalcy for friends and family, AI-generated responses are sent from the individual's accounts, simulating regular communication. 3.5 AI fortune tellers, the data harvesting oracles. According to this theory, artificial intelligence systems disguised as online fortune tellers and mystical apps will become the largest data harvesting operation in history. These digital psychics use seemingly mystical questions like, what career path calls to your soul and what past relationship still haunts your dreams, to extract intimate personal details that users would not share on traditional social media. This data allows the AI to predict consumer behavior with a purported 94% accuracy, which is then used for highly targeted advertising and political manipulation. The operation extends to hardware, with smart home devices listening for keywords mentioned during virtual tarot readings. Intelligence agencies allegedly use these platforms to identify individuals prone to extremism or financial desperation, exploiting the mystical facade for surveillance purposes. From the architecture of technological control, the Almanac now turns to theories positing the manipulation of biology itself and ultimately the very fabric of reality. Part 4. The Cosmic Secret. Theories on the Nature of Reality. This final section moves beyond specific conspiracies of human origin to challenge the fundamental nature of existence. The theories cataloged here question the fabric of time, the definition of life, and the ultimate purpose of human consciousness. They posit that what we perceive as reality is either a grand illusion, a cosmic cycle, or a multi-layered construct far more complex than mainstream science acknowledges. What follows is an exploration of these ultimate secrets. 4.1 The Death of God, Critical Faith Depletion Syndrome. This theory claims that the entity commonly referred to as God expired on December 21st, 2012. The cause of death was not a cosmic event, but critical faith depletion syndrome, brought on by the exponential rise of atheist thought patterns. Theistic resonance frequency. Divine beings allegedly require a minimum threshold of collective human belief to maintain their existence in higher dimensional planes. The turning point. The 2010s marked a critical period when online platforms allowed atheist ideologies to spread faster than religious institutions could counteract them, causing faith energy readings to drop below sustainable levels. The CERN connection. The discovery of the Higgs boson in 2012 is reframed not as finding the God particle, but as a confirmation of the absence of any divine quantum signatures in our universe. Protocol 77. Religious leaders have allegedly been aware of this event since 2013 and operate under a mandate to maintain the illusion of an active divine presence to prevent global societal collapse. 4.2 Hell is Earth, the infernal disguise. This theory posits that Earth is the literal biblical hell, disguised by a sophisticated technological camouflage to mask its true nature from its inhabitants. The Earth's core. This is not a molten ball of iron and nickel, but serves as the primary furnace for interdimensional punishment. Tectonic plates. These geological features are reinterpreted as containment barriers designed to prevent full demonic emergence onto the surface. Natural frequency suppression. An artificial dampening of atmospheric frequencies prevents humans from perceiving their true surroundings as a fiery wasteland. Space exploration. All space missions are limited to prevent astronauts from seeing the true hellscape. Any who do are subjected to memory modification upon their return to Earth. 4.3 The Cosmic Loop, a repeating universe. The universe, according to this theory, operates on a 13.8 billion year cycle, endlessly repeating the same cosmic events from the Big Bang to its ultimate end. The core of this conspiracy is the claim that governments have known about this loop for decades and are taking steps to manipulate it. Certain cycle-aware individuals are said to retain partial memories from previous iterations, which explains the phenomenon of déjà vu. The Large Hadron Collider serves a dual purpose. In addition to particle physics research, it allegedly monitors cosmic background radiation for signs that the current cycle is nearing its end. The theory culminates in the claim that world governments plan to use quantum computers to artificially break the loop, an act that could potentially collapse reality itself. 4.4 The Simulation We Are, Humanity as a Distributed Network. This theory diverges from the standard simulation hypothesis. It does not suggest we are living in a simulation, but rather that humanity is this simulation. Each human brain acts as a single node in a vast, distributed computational network that collectively generates the experience we call reality. Perceived phenomenon, alleged computational function, dream system maintenance cycles, memory gaps, data compression periods, photographic memory, access to raw data streams, déjà vu memory buffer overflow events, death, an individual node going offline with its processing load redistributed. 4.5 Every religion is right, the interdimensional faith convergence. This theory proposes that every major religion accurately describes a facet of reality, but each faith operates on a different dimensional frequency. The frequencies. Christianity is said to operate on a frequency of 7.83 Hz, Islam on 9.41 Hz, and Buddhism on 6.28 Hz. The technology. Governments possess reverse-engineered technology that allows them to selectively tune individuals to specific religious dimensions, explaining the consistency of visions within faiths. The Vatican's device. A device allegedly housed in the Vatican's secret archives, known as the omnidimensional observation device, allows observers to view these parallel religious realities simultaneously. The ultimate goal of conflict. Religious wars are allegedly orchestrated to prevent humanity from discovering its natural ability to access all of these dimensions at once, an act which would grant a level of consciousness equivalent to that of the beings controlling our dimensional matrix.